Matching information to paragraphs. In this kind of question, you are asked to match statements to paragraphs. You do not need to understand what the whole paragraph is about. You're going to be looking for specific information in the paragraph, so it's not necessary for you to understand the whole paragraph. As long as you find the information, and it's usually in a phrase or in a sentence, not just a word. Common problems associated with this type of question: you need to look at the whole text. You need to look at the whole text so you can identify where to find the information. The answer might not be in the main idea of each paragraph. It could be one sentence in the paragraph, and some paragraphs may contain more than one answer. There's also lots of irrelevant information that you're going to have to sift through. You're going to have to read through it, but it's irrelevant. It's just distractors. Not all paragraphs contain an answer, and some paragraphs contain more than one answer. So you can pass by 3 paragraphs with no answer, and the 4th paragraph may have 2 or 3 answers. Strategy that you can follow: read the questions first. Quickly skim the reading. So you're going to skim through the reading looking for a general idea and to identify the text, what's the whole purpose of the text. Read the question statements again. Scan the text paragraphs you think might contain the answer. Check back with the question statement and mark the answer if correct. This is an example here, you can see. Let's look at number 1, a reference to characteristics that only apply for food production. If you look highlighted here, it says 2 things distinguish food production from all other. So here, from all others. So here, you can notice that that's the answer in the paragraph. Luckily, it's at the beginning of the paragraph, but sometimes it could be in the middle or at the end. Another type of question is label in a diagram. This is a diagram. It's very simple. You're given a diagram, and then you have to label it, give names to it. Common problem associated with this type of question: focusing too much on the diagram. Some students, when it comes unfamiliar diagrams, they spend too much time focusing on the whole diagram while they should be focusing only on the questions given. Failing to locate the paragraph that contains the answer. That happens a lot, where you're skimming and scanning, but you can't find exactly the location of the paragraph or the section where it has the answer, so you end up losing time. Writing the wrong number of words or spelling words incorrectly, which applies to many other types of questions. That's why you should read the instructions carefully always, because they might say 1 word, 2 words, not more than 2 words, and so on. Strategy: check how many words you can write. Study the diagram and try to understand generally what is happening. Remember, don't spend too much time on it, but try to understand generally what's happening. Highlight keywords or labels. Remember, you're always going to still be looking for synonyms. Identify the type of words required and try to predict the answer. Nouns, adjectives, and try to predict your answer. Scan the text and identify where the information is located. It's very important to know where is the information located, so you can start reading in details to find the answer. Read in more details to find the answer. Check your spelling. Here's the same example, but with the paragraph. South African beetles, the highlighted South African beetles dig narrow tunnels of approximately 20 centimeters below the surface of the pad. The pad just means the animal remains. And if you look in a diagram, it's easy for you to identify which one is a South African. Moving to multiple choice questions, MCQs. Most of us have been doing this for a great part of our life during high school or university. You can choose 2 letters from A to E. You can choose 1 letter. You can choose 3 letters. Remember, read the instructions carefully because they differ from test to test. Common problems. reading the text before the question. So if you read the text before the question, what happens is you're going to have to go to the questions, read the questions, and come back again to find them in the text. So that's considered as wasting time. And as I mentioned 1,000 times before, in IELTS, time is very, very important. We can't waste it. Not answering questions. I know this might seem very simple. You're like, what do you mean not answering? Because remember, they're very close to each other. So you might end up forgetting one question, moving into one after it. And that will cause you a great problem in the long run, especially when you have to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Being tricked by examiners. They like to trick you. The options given in front of you, two might be very similar, and you might think that they're correct, but remember, you have to focus. In the strategy, we're going to be talking about this. Not reading the whole sentence. Sentences end with a period or a full stop. So, many people will read one phrase, stop at a comma, and think that's the answer, but maybe after the comma, something else is mentioned that completely changes the meaning. So please read the whole sentence, not reading the text carefully. Lots of people don't read carefully. They don't locate where the information is. They can find the place where the information is located. Strategy. Read the questions carefully. Of course, read the questions carefully. Skim the text to get the general meaning. Underline any keywords in questions. Remember, keep in mind you're going to have to think of paraphrases and synonyms for your keywords. Read the choices and underline any keywords. Think about the difference in meaning here. Think about the difference meaning in between the different choices. So it's very important. You see two choices very similar or three choices very similar. Think about the difference between them. What makes them different? That will help you identify the answer easily. Predict the correct answer. Read the text and using keywords and synonyms, locate the part containing the answer. Read that part of the text very carefully. Think about not only which options are correct, but how the other options are wrong. This is called eliminating. So if you find something is correct, think about why are the other ones incorrect. That will make it easier for you to confirm your answer. Go back and read the question again and mark your final choice. Go back and read the question again. Don't just mark your final choice. Go back and read it again. Double check. It's always important. This is an example here. It says you choose A to E, so you have to. Which two problems are mentioned which affect farmers with small farms in developing countries? If you look at the highlight here, that will show you the two options. Summary completion. Completing a summary. Very simple. In summary completion question types, you will be given a summary of information from the text, and there will be some gaps in the summary. You will either be given a list of words to fill the gaps with, or asked to find the answer in the reading text. Common problems associated with it. Losing lots of time reading the whole text and trying to understand everything. If you ever did a summary before, you know that you summarize a certain thing. It's not the whole text. A certain section. So you might waste your whole time trying to understand the whole text, while the summary might be 1 or 2 paragraphs. Looking for the exact same words in the reading text, that's a problem. Sometimes they might ask you to use words from the text. Sometimes the word does not exist in the text. You have to find a synonym for it on your own. Ignoring grammar rules when completing the summary. So if your word does not grammatically fit the summary, it's incorrect. So find a different one. For example, if your word is a verb, but in the summary is supposed to be a noun, that means it's incorrect. You should find a noun. The examiner also tries to trick you by putting a word from the text as one of the options. Again, they try to trick you, and it's not as straightforward as you might think. Strategy. Read the question carefully. Note how many words you can write. Again, I can't emphasize enough on this. how many words. Make sure you know how many words, because you might write the correct answer but add an extra word and your answer is incorrect. And if you should get the words from the reading text or a list. Yes, make sure if it's from a list or it's from the reading text. Skim the summary and try to understand the overall meaning. Try to predict the answers before you look at the reading text. If you have a list of words, try to guess which 2 or 3 the answers might be. Identify which part of the reading text the summary relates to. Look at that part of the section more carefully and choose the correct answer. Check to see if your word makes the sentence grammatically correct. This is example, the Arson for Profit course. So you're going to scan through the summary itself, try to identify what they're talking about. And here there's no options given. It says choose no more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. And it's a summary of this paragraph B, and that's it. Okay, the sources are Cambridge English IELTS past papers, and online blogs and websites from us. Thank you very much.